It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hello. Welcome back. Second part of our today's meeting. We are covering New York Open live here on Light Forex Global YouTube channel. Piotr here. It's my pleasure to be with you again. Looks like risk is fading and is fading. Risk on is fading fast, mostly because of what President Trump is saying. So what President Trump is saying? US should, President Trump talking on EU antitrust. US should be suing Facebook, Google. Perhaps we will. President Trump, we may need legislation to spur competition in technology industry. Well. I thought that we are going to see the spike higher. Looks like we might not. So basically, we got, in my opinion, a little bit weaker. X-transportation was better than what market was expecting, but durable good orders. But that was the only thing, and weaker was also so President Trump also about the about the Iran, about the China. So just a reminder, US durable good orders for May, minus 1.3, expectation was minus 0.2, previous reading revised to minus 2.8, durables X transportation for May 0.3, expectations 0.1, previous revised minus 0.1, right? Now the President Trump is very active. Okay with me if China trade tensions impact oil market. President Trump about the Iran leadership is not smart. Hope we don't have a war with Iran. And a war would not last long. So looks like, yeah. They, as usual, from the President Trump perspective, fight with everyone around the globe. All right, so what we have on majors, euro dollar No change to what we discussed. Pound weaker a bit. I like this outside day. We retest the Monday high, the Monday low today. That was the high of the day. Rejected, but I think we might see some more stop hunt to the upside, I believe. So in case we hold current level, because we are trying to finish the business over here. If you remember our educational webinar, you know what I'm talking about. So basically, if that would be the case, and simple one-to-one, maybe some kind of the Riley, right? So that would be some kind of the stop hunt. And I think closer to the weekly open, there is a broken swing low over here. So I'm talking about 27.15. We'll see. As well as we are trying to hold this swing low, right? That one was tested immediately, not the case here. As I mentioned during the first part of our meeting, I'm bearish a bit on the pound right now. And looks like it might be easier to try to attempt to trade the pound than euro dollar. It might be the case also because of what is going on euro pound, right? Looks like market is trying to retest the high, and here where the problems arise. Yesterday around the US Open, there was an action on euro pound, and what was going on the euro dollar and the pound dollar. Actually, it was based on the euro pound price action. So it was about the pound and euro, not the dollar, yesterday, for quite while, few minutes. And the dollar yen, still some space to the upside from the bear's perspective. Attempt to rally towards 108.15. That's where I may try to fade. On the other hand, where was the latest weakness? Was here, and it was tested over the course of the Tokyo session. But I like it without the upper shadow. And that's what we had here, right? There was an attempt to break higher yesterday, tiny pullback, Riley during the Tokyo session with the retest. Here on dollar yen, that, you know, invisible hands of Bank of Japan, right ahead of the G20. Let's push higher. Let's not be called FX manipulator by President Trump and White House administration. And then whatever. Actually, they shouldn't push it higher ahead. Sorry, my mistake. Then they can be called FX manipulator because they are weakening their currency. Okay, we know where we are from the Kiwi perspective. So let's have a look what we have on the euro pound. We are fighting with this 89.50, 90. Market got the appetite to push the price higher here. So from the weekly perspective, what we have the levels here, and yeah, let's check. Looks like they were not tested yet. Actually, they were. No, they were not. Wow. That might be the case from long-term perspective on the euro pound. We might push even above 91. To take the advantage of the price action here, and then we can even try to finish the business. Today's open, first support, and it's been tested. Euro JPY. The supply is based on what we've seen 11th of June, possible supply. Swing high. And the demand is based on what we've seen here. Looks like the range for now. So probably it's worth to wait and see what's going to happen in case of the rally towards 123, or what's going to happen in case of the move down towards 2140, 2090. So that's looks like it's a range on Euro JPY. And from the risk perspective, guys, finally, what is going on? If you remember on the dollar Chinese yuan, very interesting thing ahead of the G20, because finally we got back probably some kind of the intervention, manipulation, whatever we want to call it, but finally we are testing the range after the breakout, right? Because we 9th of May, 10th of May, we've seen attempt to break higher this supply based on the range from the 8th of January 2019, right? So it's twice. Then finally we broke through and we never retest that one, right? The level over here. So looks like last Friday we saw the retest, all right? And we're trying to hold that ground. So it's an attempt to rally right now. And that's the first possible supply over here, middle of that range, right? Because we do have new range. after we broke to the upside, right? We hit top, over, under, right? We are talking about 694.50, 695. So that's the new range over here above this broken supply and under this, right? So that's the range. Looks like we are trying to hold this level after, and so mid of that range, that might be the first supply. So we are talking about the levels closer to 690, 690.50. It's gonna be interesting. Actually, it's gonna be very interesting what's going to happen after, right? G20. Because we are slowly switching to indices, but let's have a look where we were during that was the last G20, if I'm not mistaken, over here. Curious if it's going to be the same action lower here. The thing is, with my colleague, we were discussing, you know, conspiracy theories. Whoops, I'm sorry. The truth is that it's still long. It's well over the year when we are talking about the US election, right? So the final deal with China, all the positive news are not necessarily important right now. They are gonna be more important closer to the November, closer to beginning of 2020, when we are going to have elections, all this stuff related to the US elections in a full throttle, right? So then I would expect, you know, that we are going to be bombarded by good news from President Trump and from all White House staff, right? Right now, he can fight. I mean, I'm talking about the President Trump. He can fight to the right, to the left, right, with all around the world. So trade tensions with China, some tariffs to Europe, but then, you know, sometimes you can forget where you are when you are doing all the things at the same time. That's the very, very narrow line. Could be easily broken. But anyway, so with G20 on the horizon, we were discussing this morning the Nasdaq, okay, where we are, what we might expect, okay. But let's have a look what we have on other indices, because we are going to observe Nasdaq right at the US cash open within the next 10 minutes. So let's start with S&P. We are fighting above 2,900, right? Looks better than what we have on the Nasdaq, right? As you can see on Friday, what happened. All right. Now, I like this from the bearish perspective, of course. The only thing is, and probably I didn't mention during these educational webinars, but I'm talking about this very often. You may expect temporary or permanent turnaround on the market, usually after the stop hunt, right? Here would probably be better to check it on the futures market. Probably here we didn't hit the stops, right? Because based on this line, it was touched exactly to the point, right? So when you have a touch exactly to the point, and you've got some kind of a rejection, this level is going to work as a magnet in the near future. Would be completely different here with S&P if we would have the latest rejection. That's what we have here. What was it? 21st of the June. It would be completely different. Whatever, rising candle, falling candle, with, for example, such a upper shadow, right above the line we have here. We connected 3 tops, ideally to the point, right? So no stop hunt yet, so there is a chance, window dressing, for example, right? So it is a chance we are going to see something like this this week, or as early as Monday after the G20. That might be the case, right? So definitely it's worth to watch the behavior of the S&P as well. Okay? At least that's how I see the things. Right? Of course, situation is going to change, right? Once we have a break above and we hold above this trend line, right? We are going to have huge cap and handle. I don't want to count where we are going to go in that case. Straight through the roof, 20% higher. Is it possible? To be honest with you, now I know everything is possible on this market. It's no longer free market, so everything is possible. Yeah, exactly, Mer, exactly. But I think it's a little bit too early for him right now. He needs that closer to the year end. So what we might see some kind of the rejection. Let's try to discuss it for a second. We might see some kind of the rejection because he doesn't need big bullish price action right now. What he needs, and when he needs, it's like, in my opinion, something around March 2020, right? Just some kinds of the unusual good US data, stocks higher, Fed with interest rates at 0. But not now. It's a little bit too early, I think, because it might be overdone. But actually what I'm talking about, this is the normal market behavior. This is the normal market behavior. And it's just from 1780, right? So I don't have bigger history, right? From 2008. So it's a normal market. That's showing health of the market, right? Anyway, that's how S&P looks like. Let's have a look what we have on the DJ. Because here we have something similar, straight through the roof, but compared to S&P, What the heck is going on? Compared to S&P, actually we didn't hit. Jeez. We didn't hit the new high. We are still fighting inside this supply zone based on the daily chart we've seen here, right? So something like double top, and I don't like this type of the double tops. I do prefer double top when the second top is a little bit above the first top, something like this, just, you know, shy of the previous high, for example, with upper shadow, with the rejection, nice rejection. Something like this, right? So if it is worth to watch. Now, where is the support on DJ? I think that the range we've seen on the 3rd of May 2019, right? I think that's the possible first demand. And we are not going to discover America. Look where we reacted today and yesterday. And this breakout candle bottom as well, right? The next demand is the open from 7th of May. I'm going to move the line a little bit higher, this one over here. We were reacting here as well. That's the next. We don't need that one anymore. So that's how I see the things on the DJ. German DAX. To be honest with you, I'm quite surprised. Euro went higher, euro dollar went higher, and the DAX is higher as well. So I'm quite surprised here. But anyway, compared to where we are in US, DAX is far, far, far away. So what we have here, from the DAX perspective, that's possible supply, and we are reacting again here, third time, right? And then we have here supply around 12,800, 850, 720, 850. That's based on the daily chart. To the downside, I think that's over under, so those two are still valid. Those two zones are still valid. All right, we are about to start US cash open, so let's watch and monitor what is going on NASDAQ. Let's prepare ourselves for the first 5 minutes trading range. As usual, and we'll try to figure it out, because it looks like, because of where we are from the time perspective, I mean the end of the quarter, more fireworks might be visible on the stocks instead of the FX during next few days. So what we may try to see here, today's high, pre-market high, might be as a liquidity pool, and the supply I can see somewhere here, and we haven't been there yet. We haven't been there yet. Okay. To the downside. Yellow, we've been almost, so we might see stop count below yesterday low with strong turnaround. It might be the case as well, but we have also the price action we've seen pre-market, and this pullback we hit that demand, so rally off that level, especially that we are trying to activate this demand, this one. Okay, so let's get back. Wow, through the roof. Window dressing. Incredible hot here. We might see the first reaction here over under as well. So let's place the line. We might see this over under in play. Yeah. Euro dollar under the weekly open, under the Monday low, and above demand. Pound no change. Dollar yen no change. Kiwi higher, but still ahead of the supply. Euro JPY no change for now. Euro pound no change for now. Yeah, boring a bit FX side. So is it going to be the very strong first 5 minutes of the trade, or is it going to be upper shadow? Very interesting, 10 seconds left. All right, a little bit of the upper shadow. So let's have a look what we have here. All right, over under is in play right now, the first one. At least there is a reaction straight to the point. Nice. So it might be failure trying to break out the first 5 minute trading range to the upside. So in that case, we might eventually see attempt to change the direction short term if this high holds. So in that case, if we are going to take into the consideration first 5 minutes trading range, right, and we will double that range. So we are going to look for the stops, liquidity, intraday high 7681 based on my chart, towards the supply at 7686, towards Monday open. That might be the case. Market may want to look for that liquidity, and still this big over under might be in play. So if you are a bear, you have to be patient right now. Still a few points to the upside left. Who cares that Trump wants to sue Google, Facebook? Nobody. Algos are fine. Bad news is a good news. Holy maloney. Holy maloney. We do have also FX option expiration. Let me have a look what levels are going to be covered today. Let me check if I have somewhere available already. Twenty-sixth of June. Let's have a look what we have. If may influence market within the next 20 minutes. Whoa. Whoa. Dollar yen. We are trading 107.65. We have 1 billion 107.70 107.80, but we have above 3 billion in between 108 108.20. So 35 pips within the next 20 minutes. Well, I wouldn't say no. So that's what they're covering. Our supply level is well covered by options traders as well. Euro dollar 13.56. Whoa! Almost 5 billion in between 13.70 13.90 on euro dollar. So weekly open 70 and 13.90. 5 billions. Whoa! All right. So the big guys are playing their games and we are going for a break. Second and last time bar is open today. Coffee, tea, water, whatever you like. But non-alcoholic drinks only. Enjoy the break. I'll be back around the top of the hour. Hello, hello. Third and the last part of our today's meeting. Mer, thank you very much for that information. I have to address, and I'm going to send a request to my colleagues from Light Forex, and they will try to investigate. They will try to check it out. What is going on? What is important right now from the Nasdaq perspective? Actually, it's going as expected, right? So we doubled that range. We hit the supply based on the daily chart. Right now, here on that 1 minute chart, look guys, on the 1 minute chart, if you were watching our webinars, our educational webinars, yesterday, week ago, 2 weeks ago, look guys what we tested, and it looks like it's a nice short setup on Nasdaq with the tight stop right above. What's the target? The first target is the New York cash open, right? So the range, bottom of the range from after the cash market was open. But overall, second target, I would say the stops under yesterday low, in that case 7,611. So yes, it looks like, in my opinion, it looks like risk reward is in a favor of the short right now, but do your own research, of course, and test it on a demo account, right? So looks, of course, against this idea is the time of the month, right? We are talking about the end of the quarter. We are talking about the first half of the year. So there is a possibility we are going to see window dressing. Let's have a look where we are from the DJ perspective. And DJ is this time is weaker compared to Nasdaq. What about S&P? Just a reminder from the S&P perspective, I think what we've seen last Friday, right? What we've seen last Friday, it's not, the job is not done here. We have to hit some stops. It was ideally to the point, to the line. I want to see something bigger and rejection. Guys, of course, the smaller time frame, the lower reliability of that signal, right? But guys, that's the same thing we had on Euro Dollar Daily here. So in case you missed the educational webinars where we are discussing these tricks, right? Please visit archive section on Light Forex channel. YouTube Global Light Forex channel. Let's have a look what we have from the news perspective. So the options expired, right? We were very close to the important levels. Euro dollar, still I think we are going to at least look for stops below yesterday low, if not break to the downside overall, but at least looks for stops below yesterday low, and I've explained already. So there is no change on euro dollar right now. And to the upside, we know higher towards 114. Sellers are waiting. Pound is trying to recover towards the London fixing, right? And what we discussed during the second part, it might be, maybe we are going to see 1-to-1, right? So in that case, we should see attempt to break back above Monday low. I like the weekly open as possible supply over here, right? As well as this broken intraday swing low from yesterday. And probably I'm gonna skip dollar yen, at least for now. Here is a supply as well, based on this 15-minute chart this time. and we are testing this supply right now. So actually, over the course of 2 hours, right? Because we started at 2 p.m. CET, it's 4 p.m. CET, 2 hours. And we can see FX is not that active today. Probably we are going to see more fireworks here on indices. Thank you, Mer. Thank you for your kind work. Thank you very much. You know, when there, if you are talking about something and it's useful at least for one person, then you've got the more energy to do that often, again and again, right? So yeah. Of course, not everything I'm talking about is gonna work 100% of the time. No way. It's simply no way. But really, if anyone can choose 1, 2 tools from the whole arsenal, and it might be useful for him, for her, great stuff. I'm really happy that I can share that with you. So, you may also, if you are testing this strategy, you may also want to see the 50% of that first 5-minute trading range here in case of 1-to-1. But I think because the cash open was the lowest level today, I think that we are going to hit some stops, so that's where first target should be, right? The second, what we discussed yesterday low, I do believe, where is the 30-minute chart? Sorry. I do believe market may want to look for some liquidity over here, right? So we might see yesterday low to be under pressure as a second target. So we are trying to get back inside the first 5-minute trading range on the cash market, and actually looks like we just, yeah, more or less. Thank you, Mar. Really, thank you very much for such a kind words. Let's have a look if we have some more activity from the President Trump side. Guys, watch out euro dollar on Friday, because looks like Italy is back. Italy to present informal anti-procedure plan on Friday. Okay, so let's have a look what we have on the oil side. As we were commenting, Mr. President Trump, who doesn't care about the prices because of the tensions between US and China, he said he's fine with it. So let's have a look where we are, and just a reminder, within the next 20 minutes we are going to get the official EEA data. Yesterday API private data was in favor of bulls, and that's what we've seen yesterday here. All right, we are trying to continue, of course, Iran case, of course, the whole Trump interview is working fine. Bulls are happy here. So let's switch to the higher time frame. Let's have a look where we are from a higher time frame perspective. Let's start with monthly chart. Okay, plenty of space. That's the possible supply, because what we took out few levels, so that's the possible supply based on what we have here. So the green from the daily is also covered by this monthly chart. We can place the line, red line. We know the red color is representing what is going on the monthly chart. Okay. Now, what about possible demand based on the monthly chart? Looks like the previous month low. So we are trying to create swing low over here. But to have a beautiful, nice swing low, we need such a strong close and retest of this 53 level. Where is supply? Supply being tested already here. Higher supply being tested already here based on what we have. Almost to the cent, right? I think right now we are going higher because of what is going on with Iran, but I think we are not done yet with the lower prices. All right, we might try to finish the business based on the monthly chart over here. I'm sorry, 27.45. I know it's so low. And of course it's not gonna happen overnight, but it's worth to remember what the big guys may look for, especially the big bears, right? Just 1-to-1 but it's from the monthly chart, right? So of course for us, for retail traders, it's hard to trade higher time frames where the distance between the entry and the stop would be huge here, right? But I think that as long as latest high and this supply holds, because if we are going on the other hand, that's important as well. We may try to first finish business to the upside. So 1-to-1 to the downside, we might do 1-to-1 to the upside. Why not? Ideally to the cent. Again. Let's switch lower. So what happened here? We hold the weekly demand, right? And 3 and 4 weeks ago, 2 lower shadows. We hold this latest weakness. That was the latest weakness. From here, we made the lower low. We hold this level based on the weekly, and we are trying to rally. And here is the broken swing low. Supply. That's what I think, and it's in correlation with the red line. So based on what was going on monthly chart, I do expect some supply over here, to be honest with you. So in case we see the rally towards 60, okay, might be the reaction. And the 60 actually is not that far away. So in case of the positive for the bulls, positive EA data, we might see the spike to the upside. We might see the spike to the upside. So we might try to clean the stops above the high from the 30th of May. We might clean these stops and hit the supply a little bit higher. Okay? From that perspective, first possible demand after we hit that bottom based on demand from the weekly chart. So right now, the possible demand based on the daily is here. So what was here? We finished the business. There was some reaction, upside break. We haven't seen retest yet. Of course, what we have here for now, as long as we are above, is working as a demand. But once it's broken, it's the same as what we have on 1 minute on Nasdaq. What is going on Nasdaq? Based on 1 minute chart. Guys, if you know what you are looking at, if you know what you are looking for, you will find it on 1 minute chart. I know, plenty of people are going to say that on 1 minute chart there is chaos only. No, it's not, as long as from day trading perspective, you know what you are looking for. I know that some of you probably was trying to check 1 minute chart. Some of you were trying to base on 1 minute chart, doing the whole analysis on 1 minute chart. I'm not talking about doing whole analysis on 1 minute chart and trading on 1 minute chart. What I'm talking about, we had important levels from daily, green line. We had few levels based on the 30 minutes, right? We saw rejection over here. So from the execution point of view, switching to the smallest time frame, trying to have the smallest distance between the entry and the stop is the best way. Okay? So at least that's what we have. It's working this time. Again, it's not gonna work 100% of the time. No way. I'm doing the execution on 1 minute. I'm doing the analysis from the higher time frame, right? And then trying to find the best entry on the because why I've been watching 1 minute chart? Because we were approaching strong level based on the daily chart, green line. So green color represent daily chart. So here, right? And we were discussing the first 5 minutes. Exactly, you 100% right, Mer. 100% right. Because then my distance between entry and stop. But what's the key here? Key here is that we were discussing level from the daily, we were discussing levels from 30-minute charts, and we switch lower to 1 minute to try to find the best execution level. But around logical levels from the higher time frame. Because trying to trade only based on 1 minute charts might be tough, if not very tough, if not very impossible. But if I have logical level from the higher time frame, I love to execute on 1 minute chart. So in that case, let's say we are testing on a demo account right now. So let's say it's time to actively manage that position, right? Because we have, what is important here, that we have from here, right now we have this 1-to-1 and 50% range of the first 5 minutes on the cash, right? We have this 1-to-1. It's worth to actively start to manage the position, meaning that the stop, the initial stop was around the high, right? Above this whole supply. So around the high. So no doubt about it that we should lower the stop right now. Right? We have nice supply again somewhere here. So overall, if this move is real to the downside, we shouldn't get back above first 5 minutes top range. We should hit first something around the cash open, right? So that's the initial target. All right, in case of strong move, let's say it's time to actively manage the position, and you know, everyone is doing this stuff differently. So it's all about what kind of the trader you are, what kind of the behavior, how you behave in such a situation, right? So for everyone is differently. Nice attempt to reverse. I like this type of the candle, but on a higher time frame. And as long as we are above, yeah, it might be that it might be that because the first target was here, right? Cash open. But because of this attempt to reverse, right? Let's say that was the distance between entry and the stop. Right now we are at 2R, right? Risk reward, we are at 2R. We were risking 1R. Right now it's 2R. Maybe if you feel more comfortable, that's what you have to test by yourself. If you feel more comfortable, maybe you want to take partial profit at 2R, right? And then if everything is going to be clear and we are going to hit this cash, you are fine with your remaining half, and then you are targeting yesterday low and stops below because of what we discussed and what we agreed, that the business has not been finished yesterday and there are some stops and liquidity below. That might be the case. Especially that this pre-market pullback over here cleaned the demand. So the way to the downside is open here, in my opinion. Also, we discussed this based on 1-to-1 from what we've seen from higher time frame as well. That's why we knew it, where it might be the turnaround. There was a few different things, tools we used to try to check where we may see turnaround. This time worked fine. And gold. Let's have a look and check what is going on gold. Whoops. There was a we did it more during the morning meeting, right? So let me hide the line from daily. Let's leave them only on a 1 hour chart. Yeah, Mer. And if we are going to get close below 1360, if the bears are going to manage to close below the green one here at the bottom, we really might see liquidation. Anyway, where we are from the daily, that's what we discussed this morning. We can even discuss the weekly first. The supply based on the weekly, that was supply based on the weekly, should be blue. And actually we hit over the course of this week the supply based on the weekly, so we hit some stops. Now the green over here should be blue as well, I'm sorry. So we hit the supply, we might see the pullback towards the broken range as well here, right? The thing is, what is important, the thing is that we almost fulfill the target based on the size of the move. There is a possibility we are going to see a little bit higher levels. I wouldn't be surprised, right? But we might be trapped for some time. We might be trapped inside that range. 1,360, 1,460, $100 range. Then in case of the break to the upside, $100 higher, 1,550. In case of lower, 1,260. And to be honest with you, I didn't expect this breakout last week. Yeah. Where the second top is a little bit higher. Half an hour left, 34 minutes left to the London fixing, and some higher volatility. I do expect higher volatility on the FX side, especially watch pound towards the weekly open, blue dotted line. Whew. What Nasdaq is doing? Whoa, they made lower low. They even made lower low. So we have less than 3 minutes, so yeah, let's wait for this EA data and let's check the oil reaction. So we are going to switch to crude. We know where we are from the higher time frame. I'm not sure now, because I've been more towards shorts on EuroCAD, but from the higher levels. I've been more towards the shorts, but what I would like to see some kind of the stop count above 50 to 40, 50 to 50. I've been looking for this type of the move with possibility to short above this level, right? Now that's what we have as possible demand. We are in the middle of the nowhere right now. I would be very careful. Now the Canadian data surprise from the positive side, Euro data from the negative side. Draghi very dovish, ultra dove. Now very interesting because of the data and because of the oil price. I'm very interested what's going to be the reaction, Bank of Canada reaction. I'm not so sure longs are the trade right now on EuroCAD. I would be very, very, very careful here. Really would be very careful here. We're trying, from the bigger perspective, we are inside the range between those two lines, right? When you are inside the range, the price action based on what we see on the candle, it should be approached a little bit differently. There are gonna be stop counts to the upside, stop counts to the downside, because I think that your way of thinking is right now because of this retest over here, and from that perspective, that might be a good idea to try to trade long. But when we would be in a rising trend, we are inside the range, so I'm not gonna be surprised that we are going, for example, to try to trade as low as 49 or 48.90, or maybe even try to hit the stops based on the swing low. Why? Because we are inside bigger range. That's my opinion. All right, oil. EA data. Whoa! Whoa! So right now, you don't want to be long EuroCAD. Right now, you don't. Let's see what's going to be the reaction around the monthly and daily levels. We are talking about the 60, 60, 60. Looks like the yesterday data was confirmed to yesterday private API was confirmed by the EEA. And bulls like it. Congratulations, Mer. Congratulations. Whoa, huge draw. Whoa. 4 times bigger than what market was expecting. So yeah, even bigger than what we've seen yesterday on API. So it's positive for bulls right now. But anyway, guys, we have to remember that we already made some move to the upside. So very often, when we have good news and we think that it should be continuation of such a move, the big guys sometimes they do a little bit different way, right? Why? Because we have very good positive news. So they know that everyone right now will try to trade long from the long side. If they were buying here $5 lower, they may use current buy orders as a good liquidity, so they may try to at least partially cash in. Think like this sometimes. I'm not saying we are not going to go higher on oil because all of these conditions we are discussing today, but think that way, that the big guys, right now everyone wants to buy the oil because of the data, good data, there is a tensions in between US and Iran, oil is going higher, whoa, huge hype. But the big guys who bought 10% lower, they might use current liquidity to take some money off the table. They are going to use our buy orders, filling those orders by selling the longs they opened much earlier. Great, 3-1. Congratulations, Mer. Great stuff. Exactly. That's how it works, because everyone is so excited. Oh, great news. We are going to go even higher. No, the big guys, the smart money are doing, they are using our liquidity to cash in. To cash in. Alright guys, please don't forget, today, tomorrow, Friday, the flow on the market will be dominated by the big guys who are going to make the rebalance of their portfolios. 6 months of the 2019, end of the second quarter. Be careful, don't be trapped. That was my pleasure to be with you today here. Thank you very much. Again, tomorrow, 8 a.m. CET, pre-London Open, live market coverage. And then again at 2 p.m. CET, we are going to cover live New York Open. That's it from me today. Again, it was my pleasure. Have a great rest of the day. See you tomorrow.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.